Just before we adjourn, I do want to make some very, very swift comments, and typically I seek not to do this, but I feel it's absolutely incumbent upon me to do that this evening. You know, there's a phrase that we learn in the Ethics of the Fathers, Pirkei Avot, which says, Al tadin al ben adam ad shetagia limkomo. Do not judge a human being until you stand in his place. Oftentimes translators do not judge an individual until you stand in his or her shoes. And I feel that after what has taken place along the Gazan border, there have frankly been all too many individuals, not only from the non-Jewish community, but also sadly from the Jewish community. Not only individuals who have served, but also individuals who have never had to hold a rifle in their lives, who have acted in a manner that is precisely antithetical to the ethos of that phrase, do not judge an individual until you stand in their shoes. The soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces are carrying out a task of defending the people and the state of Israel, not only those who dwell within our borders, but every member of our faith, wherever they live throughout the globe. I have worn those shoes. I do want to stand in their place, and though I only have 2 more years left within my combat service, and after that I will turn to other methods through which I can serve the state of Israel, I will tell you this. Those soldiers who lay in wait in order to intercept those who meant us harm, who sought to murder, who sought to kidnap, and who sought to only damage the morale of the people of Israel, those soldiers, contrary to that which many people say, were doing precisely the right thing at precisely the right time, in precisely the right place, for precisely the right reason, to protect Am Yisrael, the people of Israel. And no one should forget to address them. I come from a musical background. My dear father, in addition to being a criminal defense attorney, not a criminal attorney, that's something different, a criminal defense attorney, he was also a cantor of world renown and of global quality and excellence. My mother, in addition to being a qualified attorney, was a concert pianist. A concert pianist by training. She cast that trade aside when she had 7 children. Okay? I'm one of 7 children. But I'm one of 7 children. I'm third in line for dinner. and sometimes I skip ahead a position or 2. But as a son of a musical family, I can tell you that I well remember being introduced to the music of Yaron Beit-On. Yaron Beit-On, my father told me, was a singer of songs in Ladino. I'd never heard of Ladino until my father told me about that. But I remember one song that I heard some years later, because as a child, when first I was introduced to his music, I had no appreciation for it whatsoever. But with time and with maturation, that appreciation came. Yaron Beit-On has a song, and that song says the following. It says, "Ani maftiach lach ילדה שלי קטנה, שזאת תהיה המלחמה האחרונה." I promise you, my young daughter, that this will be the last war. Several decades have passed since then. And it won't be the last war. And if by way of the briefing that we were honored and privileged to hear from you, Ambassador Dayan, and if, by way of the words through which you enriched us today, Colonel Beit-On, and if by way of the expertise that you bring to every audience that I've been privileged enough to listen to at Brigadier-General Haimovich, if we are to learn from those words that the threats are real, and that the threats are increasing, and despite our strength, those threats endure and they will remain, it falls upon all of us to ask ourselves a basic question. And the question is, are we willing to engage? Are we willing to fight? Whether it be diplomatically or militarily or defensively? Are we willing not to be pushed back, but rather to charge forward? And as we contemplate that, it's important for all of us to keep in mind that our ability to consider whether or not this is worth the fight is afforded and accorded solely and exclusively by the courage of those members of the Israel Defense Forces. Without them, this conversation would not take place. Without them, our collective hearts could not yearn to return and to Zion and to Jerusalem. And now is the time to stand fast with them, because I assure you what you're witnessing is a group of young men and women who are holding the line on behalf of everybody here. I'm one of 7 children, with 6 sons and 1 daughter. As you can discern from my accent, I was born and raised in the United Kingdom. The reason that I was born and raised in the United Kingdom is that despite the Zionistic fervour that was taught to us and transmitted to us by my dear parents, my mother always said that given that she had 6 sons and 1 daughter, she did not feel it appropriate or right or just that she move our entire family to the state of Israel, knowing that these 6 sons would be obligated to serve. That's the reason I'm speaking in this accent. That's the reason that English is my mother tongue. It was because of that Zionistic fervour that she instilled within us that 4 of us served in the IDF. Myself, my brother Raphael, my dear sister Lauren, my youngest brother, Alexander. It's because when it means something to you, your children notice it. Your grandchildren notice it. A sense of what Israel is to us is transmitted midor ledor, from generation to generation. And that's why it's particularly humbling for me to again be able to welcome into our midst my dear father and my dear mother who are here today. I thank you for being here. And I also want to conclude with this message. I want to conclude with this one message. We will shortly be celebrating 70 years of the re-establishment of the State of Israel. I assure you that if we can find the good courage, the talents and the abilities, whether it need be on our own or in collaboration with great friends and colleagues and allies, we will know the days of celebrating 140 years. We will together come to the days of knowing for millennia and eternally the commemoration and the celebration of the re-establishment of the State of Israel. She's not going anywhere, I can assure you of that, despite the best efforts of many of our enemies and opponents, militarily and diplomatically. And I want you all, please, before you adjourn from here, to go and have your coffee and your cake, and I insist that you do have it. I want all of you to keep one thing in mind. We are in the midst of the most glorious epoch in recent Jewish memory. We have a home, we have a language, we have a culture, we have a society. The people happen to look absolutely beautiful over there, incidentally. And I'll tell you one thing. You give the Jewish people just half a chance in this world, and they will go out with that half a chance, and they will build you an Israel. And it's worth the fight. Thank you very much indeed.